Okay, today we're going to calibrate a West 2300 controller fitted to Mark 6 professional incubators. To do this, you need to understand that when the controller is new or when you've had a sensor change, the controller has no way of knowing exactly what the temperature differential is between its known value for a sensor and what the sensor reading actually is. So in other words, there's likely to be a little bit of difference, and this you take out in the calibration procedure. Okay, so the first thing we do is inside the machine we have a calibrated mercury thermometer. This particular one has been tested through a scientific company's test house and guaranteed to be within 0.05 degrees centigrade. It's positioned in the machine at the top of the egg, the height the top of the egg would be, and pretty much anywhere in the machine, providing it's not right up against one side and not directly over the fan. So really, as long as it's not in either of those two positions, it will be absolutely fine. Okay, let's get this back again. Okay, the controller is currently reading 16.3 degrees. This may seem low, but what we tend to do is we set them when we first switch the machine on. This gives us two opportunities to calibrate them while they're testing. One when they're running up to temperature and one when they're actually finally at temperature. It just gives us two chances to get them absolutely spot on rather than just one. Okay, so the first thing to do is to write down on a piece of paper 16.4, which is in fact on this machine what the set point has been set to, so it is controlling at 16.4 the set point that it's asked to. Inside the machine, if I have a look, the thermometer is reading 16.1, so there's 0.3 of a difference. That's not unusual, it's well within spec, and we'll take that out now in the calibration. Okay, to get to the parameter to calibrate, you press the right and centre buttons together and hold them until SP comes up. Okay, you now have to flick through the parameters, so you keep pressing and releasing the left hand button until you get to OFFS. This is offset. The standard setting on this is 0, and that means that there is no differential between the sensor reading and the actual temperature in the machine, but we know that the controller is 0.3 high, so we need to put in a value of minus 0.3. Okay, so we check that again, quick another look at the thermometer. Yeah, it's still at 0.1 and the controller was at 0.4, so it's 0.3 difference. The controller is high compared to the actual reading in the machine, so you put in a minus figure. If it was the other way around and the controller was below the actual temperature in the machine, you put in a positive figure. Okay, we'll just wait for this to time out now. Normally 20 seconds, 25 seconds, something like that, without pressing any buttons until it'll time out. When it comes up again, because we've put that in, you've adjusted the reading on the display down by 0.3 of a degree. So it should come up and read 0.1 on the end. The set point being 16.1, it should come up and read 16.1. So we'll just wait for this there. There we have it. Okay, 16 to 16.1, and it's now holding steady at 16.1. So the calibration is actually finished now. It's still, if I check the thermometer inside, exactly 16.1, and the controller is also saying 16.1. At this point we would then take the set point up to whatever incubation temperature you're looking for. So you go flick through the parameters again until you get to SP, and you change that up to whatever figure you want to run at. This one's flicking 16.0 to 16.1, so it's very close. So what I would suggest you do with this particular machine, and what we would do with it here on test, is we would run it up to incubation temperature of 37.5, and we would go through that again just to check that it was within 0.1 of a degree. 9 times out of 10 they are. It's very rare we have to make a second adjustment, but you can do that adjustment whenever you like. I would suggest you don't do it too often, because every time you change it, you're altering the whole background sort of registration for the controller. So it's best to do it perhaps at the beginning of the season at a low set point of perhaps 16 or 17 degrees, then again at 37.5 to be sure. And if you do find there's a differential between your mercury thermometer or your digital thermometer inside the machine at the top of the egg and what the controller is reading, then it's just as well to check that your calibration hasn't altered. It shouldn't alter. There should be no reason for it to alter other than having a sensor change or a controller change, or if the position of the sensor is significantly altered. There are other videos available on www.abincubators.co.uk. I hope you found it helpful.